Who made the decision?
The prior Department of Justice.
Who in the prior Department of Justice?
The settlement for that kind of case can only come from the Attorney General, which would be Attorney General Merrick Garland.
So the Attorney General decided to give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 after they were fired after actively interfering in the 2016 election. Is that right?
My understanding is that was a settlement they agreed to.
Pass me the sick bucket, please.
Hey folks, today we're diving into something that should concern every red-blooded patriot in this country. Senator John Kennedy just grilled former Trump official Kash Patel in a no-holds-barred Senate hearing. And let me tell you, it was fire. Let's watch the clip.
Mr. Director, worry not. We'll make sure your agency is adequately funded. This judge you arrested in Wisconsin, she was breaking federal law, wasn't she?
Yes, that's why we arrested her.
She was helping an illegal immigrant escape being taken into custody. Is that right?
Yes, and the field agents decided to open the case, work the case.
And as Americans, do we get to pick and choose which laws we want to follow?
We do not.
If you're a state court judge, do you get to decide you don't want to follow federal law?
No.
And if you violate federal law, you get arrested, don't you?
Yes, Senator.
That's called equal treatment under the law, isn't it?
Yes, Senator.
You remember Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, don't you?
Yes, Senator.
Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI. Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI. I think Ms. Page worked for Justice. The Inspector General found in its investigation that they hated President Trump and they really wanted Secretary Clinton to win. Is that true?
That's correct, sir.
And this would be the same same Ms. Page who sent an email to Mr. Strzok with whom she was having an affair. Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right? And Mr. Strzok with the FBI, senior official at the FBI replied, quote, no, he won't. We'll stop it. Did I read that correctly?
You did, Senator.
Okay. Now, Ms. Page got quit before she could get fired. Mr. Strzok was fired. And predictably, they filed a lawsuit because in Washington, it's easier to divorce your spouse than it is to fire a federal employee. Why did the FBI give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 to settle a lawsuit?
Senator, I do not know that settlement was reached in the prior administration.
Who made the decision?
The prior Department of Justice.
Who in the prior Department of Justice?
The settlement for that kind of case can only come from the Attorney General, which would be Attorney General Merrick Garland.
So the Attorney General decided to give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 after they were fired after actively interfering in the 2016 election. Is that right?
My understanding is that was a settlement they agreed to.
Pass me the sick bucket, please. The Hunter Biden laptop. In October of 2016, shortly before the election, the New York Post wrote a story that was widely covered talking about Mr. Hunter Biden's influence peddling scheme based on his laptop. A couple of weeks later, Secretary of State, soon to be Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, organized a group of 51 so-called intelligence experts. Had some real rock stars on the list. Jim Clapper, John Brennan, Michael Hayden, Leon Panetta, and they said, oh, no, the story in the New York Post is not true. It's based on Russian disinformation. You remember that?
I do, Senator, as the lead investigator for Russiagate for the House Intel Committee.
Yeah. The FBI had the laptop for 10 months, hadn't they?
They did, Senator.
So the FBI knew right before the election that it wasn't Russian disinformation, didn't they?
And that was confirmed by the Inspector General's report.
Yeah. Who at the FBI refused to let the FBI tell the American people the truth?
I don't have that name in front of me, sir.
Well, would you look?
I will, sir.
I'd like to know. I'd like a name, not a division. I'd like the name. A person with a brain and a beating heart.
Yes, sir.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Cash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant for production of the public, such as CSAM.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Reid.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Director. As you're well aware, DOJ.
First off, a state judge in Wisconsin was arrested for helping an illegal immigrant escape ICE custody. Let that sink in. A judge, sworn to uphold the law, decides she can pick and choose which laws to follow. Thank God the FBI acted on this one, but Senator Kennedy made it crystal clear no one is above the law, not even judges with political agendas. Now let's talk about Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. Remember them? Two government officials caught texting each other about how they were going to stop Trump from becoming president. This isn't some conspiracy theory. These are the facts confirmed by the Inspector General. They interfered in a presidential election. What happens? They sue the government and get millions of taxpayer dollars in settlements. Folks, if you or I pulled something like that, we'd be in jail, not cashing a check. Then there's the infamous Hunter Biden laptop. The FBI had it for 10 months before the election and knew it wasn't Russian disinformation. But did they say anything? Nope. Instead, 51 so-called intelligence officials, handpicked by soon-to-be Secretary of State Blinken, told the American people it was fake. You know what that smells like? Election interference. Again, Kennedy wasn't playing around. He didn't ask for a department. He asked for a name. Who in the FBI decided to lie to the American people? Kash Patel couldn't answer, but said he'd look into it. Well, we're still waiting. Accountability shouldn't be a maybe. It should be a must. And then came the million-dollar question. Did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? Senator Kennedy asked it point blank. Kash Patel says Epstein hanged himself. That's the official story. But if you believe that, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. They're still reviewing the case? Years later? How long does it take to tell the truth? This video was more than a hearing. It was a wake-up call. Our justice system is broken when corrupt officials get rewarded and the truth is buried under bureaucratic nonsense. John Kennedy spoke for all of us who are tired of the lies, the double standards, and the lack of accountability. It's time for answers. It's time for truth. And it's time we the people demand both. If you're sick of being lied to and want to fight for real justice in this country, like this video, share it and subscribe. Let's keep the pressure on. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.